Oh dear, oh dear. That couldn't have gone much worse. I don't know. That physically couldn't have gone much worse. It was embarrassing from top to bottom. I hope we can dissect some of this and have like a post-game therapy session, because by God do we need it after the Eagles ended up getting slapped silly on the road in Dallas. Now, look, I know there were some trepidations. I know some people were nervous because, look, the Eagles hadn't won on the road in Dallas since, as Isaac alluded to, 2017. Okay, that's a long time. In 2017, I was going to say like I looked and sounded different. That would be a lie, but you get where I'm coming from here. It's a big thing, okay? But what that game meant, I think, is far more symbolic of where this team is at. The fact that they get humiliated by the Niners, okay? After beating the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Quarter King Caracatas, everyone else you could possibly wish to find that the AFC has to offer, they've beaten them all, okay? Except the Jets, we let that lie. The Niners, second in the NFC Championship last year, close runner-up, lost Brock Purdy. There were comments about that game from the get-go. It lingered all off-season. The Eagles got caught. They got caught with their pants down, and they paid the price. What none of us assumed would happen is that a game where so many lessons were written on the wall, a game where a signpost that said, "Do not swim, piranha-infested waters, do not go in here, you will die," they just dive in head first. It's like nothing mattered. Nothing about that San Fran game mattered. It didn't learn anything. There was no changes whatsoever. It was like the blueprint was out. We said it on Friday. The blueprint was out defensively to beat that Eagles team, because the linebackers don't have the talent, the safeties are struggling, and the corners are schemed to funnel everything inside to linebackers who just aren't up to snuff. Okay? So it was easy. Am I surprised Jake Ferguson, of all people, led the team in receiving yards for Dallas? Not really. Am I going to be surprised next week when the Eagles end up being damaged by Noah Fant in Seattle? Not really. What about when, God forbid, what happens with the New York Giants? But nothing was learned. Offensively, this team has had a pass for the entire year, the entire season, because they were winning. And look, we have said it all year long on this show, okay? And if you're new to this show, hello, bonjour, come on Tap L2. You can catch us Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. But it was the same thing we've said all year long, that winning cures. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how bad, how ugly, how many second half comebacks, how many times they are down by 2 scores that they come back and win, because they win. It doesn't matter. Winning cures all. As soon as the winning stops, as soon as the music stops playing, then questions get asked, and then they don't get answered, and they don't get answered again, and they don't get answered again. And we said after San Francisco, something had to change. The Eagles had to make a change. Nick Sirianni has to do something with that offense, whether it's just having a chat with Brian and say, "Look, Brian, buddy, you're great, but can you maybe turn to page 2 of your playbook every now and again?" Maybe it's going to Sean Desai and saying, "Look, listen, I understand your linebackers aren't up to snuff. We've tried to bring one in. It will take a minute. Have you tried maybe, like, I don't know, trying a different scheme, like trying to maybe not do so much and get too pizzazzy with it all? Have you just tried maybe bringing an extra nickel corner on the field, or maybe an extra safety? Maybe bring, I don't know. Like, I don't have the answers defensively for, I don't know. It sucks. We'll get to some of your questions because I'm just going to ramble otherwise and it'll be an hour-long rant. Isaac starts us off as we mean to go on. I'm dead inside. I feel that. I hope you're okay. Phil's more optimistic. Says it will be okay. I hope. This is the thing, right? Like, realistically, it will be okay, because as we alluded to on Friday, Dallas now, who are tied at the top of the NFC East, play Miami, Buffalo, Detroit. Okay? The Eagles play the Giants twice and the Cardinals after Seattle. Like, if the Eagles somehow choke the NFC East by losing to the Giants at least once and the Cardinals, they are the biggest fraudulent team in NFL in a long time. In a long, long time. It won't happen, and this is what's going to piss me off. I think, and I alluded to this earlier as well. I'm sorry for all the callbacks here, but I alluded to this last week. This Eagles team can lose to Dallas. They lose to San Fran. We've got all these questions, all this frustration, all this outburst of the product that we're seeing on the field. And what they're going to do is Jalen Hurts is going to give his same stereotypical press conference where he doesn't show much emotion and he gives a quote like it's not how hard you push the rock, it's how hard the rock pushes you or something. And then they're going to go and beat Seattle, or they're going to go and beat a lowly Giants team, and they're going to beat a lowly Cardinals team, and they're going to start wearing underdog shirts thinking that, oh, look, it's the league against us. Everyone hates Philly. They want to ban the brotherly shove. No one gives a shit. You're making your own mess and rolling around in it and complaining you stink of shit. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. That's the thing. They will bully themselves into a corner of fixable issues. It starts at the top with Nick Sirianni. It is all fixable. It's at this point, I don't think much of it is. Sure, some of it's on the players. They're the guys making the plays. And when you get flagged more times, than I've had cups of tea this week, hint the answer's 12, then you're going to be in for a bad time. However, you can't expect to put yourself in this situation where you lose to Dallas, where you lose to San Fran in the way you did. Go and beat the Giants, go and beat the Cardinals, and then parade around Philly like you're the king of the castle in Borat, going, king of the castle, king of the... You're not. You're not. You're just not. Okay? And that's what's going to get me. Because, look, I would love genuinely nothing more than Jalen Hurts, if the Eagles do win the NFC East, to come out and literally say, we've got to be better still. It's not done. And I don't mean like the Kobe Bryant, game's not finished, or it's not, series isn't over, whatever it is. Like, just that kind of energy, though. That, like, no, we haven't been good enough. It's a win, but yeah, there's more on the plate. It's playoffs. We do not know who this Eagles team is now until the postseason. We have no idea. Because if they lose to the Giants, that's bad. If they beat the Giants, it'll be like, yeah, you doubted us. And it's like bullying a kid 3 years younger than you and like mossing him and then pretending like you are prime Randy Moss. You're not, are you really? Like, they've done the hard part. They sucked at the end. Is everything going to be okay? The talent's there. The players are there. Is the play calling? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tricky day or two to get through. But let's get to some of your comments. Camel Toe Harris says, how about them Cowboys? In fairness, I don't think much of it was about them. I mean, sure. Like, Jake Ferguson had a game. I think genuinely Rico Dowdle might have been one of the best players I saw. Tony Pollard was all right. Dak was Dak. Solid. It was a solid game. That was a Dallas team that you knew what to expect. And what I will say about the Cowboys in that game was that they were very smart. And it was like they kind of knew that Philadelphia would beat themselves. So they were like, there's no point in trying to sling it 30 yards down the field relentlessly. There's no point in trying to force the ball. Just take field goals. Just take field. I don't care if we're 60 yards away. I don't care if we're 59 yards away. Take a field goal. Trust Aubrey. Formerly of the Bethlehem Steel, by the way. Oh, blue light again. Someone's going to pick this up. Someone saw that in the curtain. The ghost stories are back. But yeah, like Dallas were okay. They just I hate to bring everything back to a golf analogy, but it's like if you play match play with someone, and I play off 22. Okay, my handicap. Let's say I play someone that plays off 10. All they've got to do is play to their handicap, knowing that at some point I am going to input. Even if I start off and go par bogey, I'm a 22 handicap for a reason. Logically, that's going to surface. That reason is going to present itself at some point. And I'll go 8 off the tee and lose 3 in a lake somewhere, And that was all Dallas did. They just took the game for what it was, methodically moved their way down the field, contained the offense when they had to, and would just put up field goals. They didn't really care. They didn't really seem that fazed by anything. I mean, there were some dodgy ref calls. Some very dodgy ref calls. There were some bizarre play calls. There were some passes that shouldn't have been completed. There were some missed tackles. The linebackers. The very first play, I'm pretty sure, was a Turpin rush. Like, it was the reverse, wasn't it? Like, it was the first or second down. It was a reverse. The linebackers, like a C, just went all that way. They all went that way, and the ball came that way, and you knew at that moment, like, it's over before it's even started. It is over before it's even started. There is no way that linebacker group is going to be able to survive if Dallas just start throwing in these new little wrinkles. There was a pick play. It wasn't obviously an illegal pick, but it was a pick play. They got battered by a running back called Turnip. I don't care. Like, it just shouldn't have happened. I would rather have them lost by 3. You know, it's not the fact they lost, it's the way they're losing. And it was the same with San Fran. It's not the loss itself. It is the fact that it is lifeless, soulless football for a team that was braggadocious, that was prideful, that was a little bit arrogant at times, I think, at the start of this year, that was assertive, that was dominant, that believed in itself. Where is that? What is the identity now? They are shaken. They are bruised. The tail's between their legs. The Eagles don't know who they are. We said it on Friday. What is this Eagles offense? Someone tell me the principle of this Eagles offense. Is it West Coast? Is it run heavy? Is it zone? Is it air raid? Just go through the basic Madden ones if you have to. Tell me something, some direction. What is it? It is like they've just got 5 plays. I was shocked to see a slant pass. The Eagles don't know who they are. Fletcher Cox apparently said it earlier. Well, now we're going to find out about guys in this locker room. I hate the fact that you've got Derek Gunn already putting reports out about anonymous sources this and players reporting that. Like, look, if that's up, look, all I will say is I'll get to something in a minute. I want to quickly get to some of your comments here. I swear your PS5 keeps turning on. The tree's off. The trees, I keep leaving the tree lights on and they're battery powered, so they keep going all over the gaff. Greg's in. Yo, Eagles family, we got to talk about family business. And there's a lot to talk about. Don't you worry about that. The Eagles will be fine, says Tom, for the rest of the regular season. It's the postseason I worry about. Nail, meathead. You're going to have to face the Niners or Dallas to get to the Super Bowl. And that's the thing. Like, realistically, the Eagles can beat anyone in the AFC. I have no doubt about that whatsoever, okay? But the NFC Championship will be a harder game than the Super Bowl. It just will be. The Chiefs are a mess. The Bills could be, a shoe-in, but the Eagles have beaten them. The Eagles have beaten the Dolphins. They beat the best the AFC has to offer. The 2 teams the NFC have that are any good, they've been slapped up, battered, thrown around a room like a rag doll. It's not been pretty at all. You could put 5 AFC teams in the NFC, and they would be like 13-0. Really? If you put the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Bills in the NFC, I can't imagine many teams being able to stop them. The NFC is a train wreck. And the only 2 teams who are any good outside of Philadelphia have humbled them in a horrible way. Luca Hinosa, I hope I pronounced that correctly, sir. Sea Chickens wide receivers are scary. It's not the receivers that are the problem, if I'm honest, my friend. I respect you as a Dallas fan coming into this stream and not, diving in and shouting at people. Very, very nice of you. I like that. Need more people like Lucia. Oh, Lucia, I've pronounced it wrong. See? I knew it. Sorry. But it's not the wide receivers that are the issue. It's going to be it's the tight ends. I'm assuming Noah Fant's going to be in action. It's the running backs. We know Charbonnet's likely going to be in action. He's not too bad. His yards per carry aren't great, but in open space, he can be a problem. It's the middle of the field. I mean, if you're going to be able to scheme, Tyler Lockett will be an issue. Tyler Lockett is always an issue. He's probably one of the most underrated receivers of a generation, I would say. Like, he's one of those players where when he retires, we're going to look back and be like, yeah, he was special, But at the end of the day, it's the tight end that are the issue. Jake Ferguson led the Cowboys in receiving. I would have lumped money on it if I could have. It just felt too obvious. And the blueprint's there. And I believe they go on the road into Seattle, which is another tricky place to play. Like, and even if the defense plays better, you've got a fairly good, I'm pretty sure they were 12th against the pass. I might be wrong. Seattle defense that... It's predictable. The Eagles are predictable. It's bland. It's boring. It's missionary Monday, but then the rest of the days of the week, like, there's just not much. There's no substance. It's like getting pancakes with no maple syrup, no bacon, no egg, no nut, just pancakes. And you get bread in your throat and you can't breathe and you're choking, ironically enough. Like, That sucks. Top to bottom, there is no identity on this Eagles team. They do not know who they are. Defensively, they haven't got a clue. Sometimes they blitz, and that goes well because Brock Purdy lights them up. So sometimes they sit back, and that goes well because tight ends eat them up. And occasionally Darius Slay will hit someone out of bounds and retweet his own highlight of pushing someone out of bounds because he thinks that's good. Look, if you want to vanity search your own name, Darius, and I will call you Darius because you haven't earned the right to be called. There was nothing slaying about that game, Darius. You didn't slay anything apart from, the hearts of all the fans. Okay? Slay your own ego. Take that down a peg, Darius, and then we can start talking about cornerback play, which has been subpar all season long. You had one good game I kick out of the top of my head. Okay? And you this is the other thing. And I'll get to this because this has been eating me up for a while. And I went on Twitter at the time Eli Ricks went on, like a minute after the game. I think it wasn't his debut. I think it was his second game. It might have even been the loss to the Jets. But he came on Twitter like 2 minutes after the game, basically said, yeah, bad game, lol, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, a week before that, Kenny Gainwell had gone onto his phone at halftime and replied to a fan on Instagram in his DMs with abuse, okay? You've got then Eli Ricks going on Twitter at the very end of the game, and you've got Darius Slay doing it as well. Like, there is it's an issue. It is 100% an issue. And I don't care if you're like, what, you're going to tell grown men not to go on their phones? No, I'm not going to. But I'm going to say maybe issue like, look, you get fined if you go on it within half an hour of the game losing. You have got guys like Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, who have been brought up, raised under Nick Saban and his rat poison mentality that social media is poison. You don't go near it, okay? So why, someone tell me, a half of that team so quick, Quez Watkins is wearing a hoodie of himself at this point. The guy cannot get on the starting offense. He's wearing a hoodie of himself to a game, right? There are ego issues. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's echo chamber, if it's social media, if it's validation. I don't know what it is, but just stop players going on their phones for half an hour pre and post game. You're not allowed before, you're not allowed after. Phones in a bucket, you get them back at the end of the day. If you're going to act like children on social media, you get treated like children in the locker room. There's no space for it. In my opinion, I don't care if people think, well, yeah, but they earn millions of dollars. Good luck taking their phone away. Fine. I would much rather that than Kenny Gainwell start insulting Joe who works at Wawa because he said you're a bum and you should be cut. Right? I would much rather that than Darius Slay after a gut-wrenching loss to the team's biggest rival that has now seen them relinquish the division lead, go on Twitter and go, yeah, that was a good play. God, I'll tell you what, my hair looks good in that clip. Retweet. God, that was a good tackle by me. That's right. Yeah, good tackle, Darius. Retweet. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You have just lost 2 games in a row against the best the NFC has to offer. You have been made to look like children, and you're running to Twitter to retweet a tackle that you made in a loss. Not an interception. Not a PBU, not a pick six, a tackle. A tackle. We are retweeting tackles after a loss. Not even a win. Not even a win. Yeah, that tackle was big. You don't see Jake Elliott retweeting extra points, do you? Do you know what I mean? You don't see like Jalen Hurts retweeting a screen pass. So what are we doing here, boys? Right, let's sort it out. They're saying, like, oh, you won't take your phone off grown men. Act like grown men. You don't need to take your phone away. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I'll get to some of your comments, but I had to get that out of my chest because I was not going to sit, ironically enough, on Twitter with people defending it, saying, like, oh, they can tweet what they want. Well, yeah, they can, but it just looks sad. It's like your first instinct after a loss. That's the thing. If your first instinct after a team loss to your biggest rival that is seeing you relinquish a division lead, where you need soul searching, you need someone to step up as a leader, and the captain on your team, You look to him as a young player. Let's say your name is Keely Ringo. Let's say your name is Eli Ricks. And you look over and you're like, oh my God, there's Darius Slay, a man I've grown up modeling my game after. And he is sat on his phone, giggling to himself because he's found a nice tackle that he made. It is embarrassing. It is absolutely sad. It is nothing Philadelphia resemblance. It doesn't embody what the city stands for. I think I embody that more as a Brit, and I'm 5,000 miles away. It's just sad. It's soft. Okay? And I hate to use that term because I find it can be used in the wrong ways, but it's just not on. And I think that genuinely, I think, upset me more than the game, is that this continues to be an issue. Didn't see it last year. So I'll stop going on about it now, but I think it just had to be addressed. Kylie's in the chat, says kind of wild because all the good QBs went to the AFC a couple years ago. Yeah, I think they must have taken, I don't know, maybe a lot of money or something with them. Like maybe they've bought out some of the because the AFC is a train wreck, except for like 3 teams. Ducks in, nice to see you, man. Honestly, the biggest shock last night is how bad Devontae and AJ played. 6 combined drops and fumbles. Yeah, and I think that's the other thing. And Kylie mentions it there with Jalen Hurts underperforming. The Jalen Hurts thing, I don't think much of it last night was him. Like he wasn't great. I've seen better games from Jalen Hurts. I've also seen worse games from Jalen Hurts. I'm not willing to put that entire loss on him when, look, they had a 3rd and 11 completed and it becomes a 3rd and 16 because Jordan Mailata jumps off sides. Then they complete it anyway. That one pocket of play alone is enough for me to be like, Jalen had flashes. There were flashes there that could have pushed the team over the line. When you've got fumbles at the worst times as well, like they weren't just fumbles. They were like, there's no way the ball should have come out. Like AJ Brown got humbled. You wouldn't think he's one of the most physically imposing receivers in football. You'd think Stephon Gilmore has rolled back the clock to like prime 2017 and is sprinting around the field like a gazelle, hitting everyone like a homing missile, forcing balls out. Like it was, you don't expect it. And I don't think, mate, I don't want to say the Eagles lacked heart or drive. That's not for me to say. I don't know what's going on in their heads. I'm not on the sideline. I'm not in the locker room. I can't possibly say how much effort was there. But I don't think Stephon Gilmore should be knocking the ball out of AJ Brown's chest. And it just felt a bit easy to do that. I felt a bit, oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, you got it. Well done. Here we go again. Then the paddy started. Yeah. Then we've seen AJ throws that helmet down. Big angry, big fumble. Sulky. Look, it is. I don't know where to start with it. There's too many little tiny things that when you're winning and you're a 10-win team, it doesn't matter. As soon as those cracks start to show, and it's like you put your finger into ice or something, and you start drilling into ice, and it just cracks and cracks. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually, it's gonna go. Like it's fractured. I think, and I can't put my finger on why. But you are looking to players like Devontae Smith, like Jalen Hurts, like Landon Dickerson. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham on defense, okay? The veterans of the team, the guys that have been instilled as leaders, having grown up around strong leadership themselves, to take ownership. Because the coach ain't doing it. I don't know what Sirianni's doing. Too busy, like, shaking hands with fans, probably. Like, I don't think Nick Sirianni has got a firm grip, should we say. There's no assertion. And he hasn't had to show assertion. He hasn't had to flex that muscle yet, I don't think. There hasn't been enough adversity for Sirianni to really get someone, not literally, but by the scruff of their neck, slap them across the face and get them into gear and say, get a grip. That side of him hasn't had to come out. There hasn't needed to be this, you got to do better. And sure, you get the accountable press conferences of, yeah, we sucked. Yeah, like, Jalen Hurts comes out, oh, got to push a rock up a hill, not let the rock push me. Like, but there's no substance to it. There's no weight to it. It's just words. And when you're winning, the words are like poetry. And it's like being in a toxic relationship. Someone writes you a poem in a toxic relationship, all right? You're 2 weeks in, they write you a lovely poem, and you're like, wow, they are remarkable. That's such a way with words. That's all about me. They're so lovely. Then you realize you're being love bombed, None of it matters, and they're going to try and stab you or something. And you get out and you're like, that's not an issue. The words don't mean anything there. You've forgotten about them a long time ago. The Eagles are in a spot where words don't matter, actions do. We have heard enough talking. We have heard enough talking all season about accountability, about making changes, about how we can be better, how the offense can be better, running the ball, not running the ball. Jalen Hurts needs to be better. Jalen Hurts doesn't need to be better. Jalen Hurts is the MVP. We've heard nothing but talk. It is hearsay. It's round and round and round. This hurricane. There has to be a core, like a nucleus, that just leads by example. And when you've got guys like Darius, not Slay, again, hasn't earned it. There was no slaying involved. All right. Hell, Santa Claus doesn't exist, and he was slaying more than Darius last night. Okay? When you've got guys like that running to Twitter straight away, the first thing they do, it just doesn't set a tone for a young team. It is a young team. Go across the offense and defense. How many veterans are there? How many captains have been there 8 years? BG, Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox. Is there anyone else? Josh Sweat, still fairly young. He's like my age. I think he's like 28. Is there anyone else on that team that is above like 28? Jason Kelsey, I missed one. My bad. Like, outside of them, anyone at all? Kevin Byard, only just arrived, doesn't really count. James Bradbury, not really a leader though, is he? That's just James Bradbury. He just exists, really, at that point. He is on the team, that's all we can say. The best thing we can say about James Bradbury this year is he's on the team. Okay? Like, I don't know. I don't know where we need to start. But there's just a lot to dissect, I suppose. Primal says, did they find Jerry Jones' shoe yet? He left it square up Howie's ass. And that's the other thing. Look, and we mentioned Howie there. It's a great segue into it, Primal, that it's easy for us to talk about Sean Desai, okay? And that Sean Desai's lack of adjustment, maybe, or that he's not playing to the strength of his defense, and that there are clear weaknesses that are being exploited. He's doing nothing about it. Sure. But the Eagles have had a general manager who has been nearly perfect by one little category. That he has 2 positions he refuses to invest, or 3 that he refuses to invest in come hell or high water. Running back, safety, linebacker. Okay? Now, the other thing with Howie Roseman is that he tends to have a bit of a, how do I say this, tendency to just not really align what he wants with what the coaches want. Square pegs, round holes. Rasul Douglas, probably a prime example. Sidney Jones, another one. He had a tendency to bring in players. How there was a phase of hybrid linebackers. That went well. That was safety and linebacker. Not a single one of them is on the team now. Like how he's got his vision of, or Jeffrey Lurie, whoever, of how they want that team to look. And the coach, who has his scheme and needs certain traits from his players, is asking for a certain kind of player to execute his scheme. What he is being given is Nicholas Morrow and Zach Cunningham. Serviceable. Nakobe Dean hasn't done anything, really. The expectation was far too great on a young man's shoulders. His second year, he slipped down boards for a reason. He struggled to stay healthy. They needed linebacker help. Safety, they left it too little, too late. It happened with Jim Schwartz. It's happening now. Howie Roseman has neglected 2 key positions on that defense, has not filled them. I don't care how good your defensive line is. It is pointless if the quarterback can just launch the ball over the top for a quick check down that ends up being a 12-yard gain because your linebackers have the tackling ability of me. And that doesn't change. It doesn't matter if you run a cover 2, a cover 3, a cover 5. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you've got at corner, who you've got at safety. If the linebackers are awful and you are reliant on linebackers because you are sending a lot of mixed pressure with that front 4, and hell, Hassan Reddick can sometimes account for a linebacker, which means you've then got 2 linebackers in the middle of the field and a nickel corner that isn't up to snuff because he is a backup to the injured Avonte Maddox. you're going to get decimated, and it is happening. And there is nothing they can do because the trade deadline's gone. Howie was adamant the team was fine. It wasn't fine. And I think some of the responsibility has got to sit on the GM. There is only so much Sean Desai can do. If you give Sean Desai cucumber, butter, a tomato for the Americans, okay, and some bread, he's going to make you a wet, soggy, messy sandwich. It's not going to be a nice sandwich. There's no meat in the middle. There's nothing making you want to eat it. There's no cheese. If you give him ingredients to make a shit pie, you'll get a shit pie. Okay? That's the thing. So, like, I kind of want to exclude Sean Desai from this debate. Because when he had all his players healthy, it was pretty damn good. But I don't know, man. Look, there's a lot to get through, but I don't think Sean Desai is fully at fault. Nowhere near as much as Sirianni or Brian Johnson. If I had a magic gun, and I don't mean literally, but they could fire someone, pardon the pun, we're rhyming as well, I wouldn't fire Sean Desai. Brian Johnson would be gone. Nick Sirianni is like, you butt your ideas up. You've got to find out how to rally that team. Because there is no way they should be doing it. There is no way they should be in a scenario again where you've got leaders not caring, the body language is dropped, the offense has no character, no identity, no purpose. It's literally no purpose. There's no point in them being on the field. What is the point at that stage? Like, and again, they're going to go out, beat the Giants, beat the Cardinals, call themselves underdogs, pretend that they are like the darlings of the NFL, that everyone's overlooked, and that everything's bad, and that they're the real heroes in this tale, and they're not. They're not. They're just a team that's underdelivered, underperformed, because there is a roster of elite players. It is one of the best offenses in the NFL, one of the best defensive lines in football, and that they've underperformed. And that's that. That's okay. But to pretend like it's not that fact and that they would be underdogs and that they shouldn't have, oh no, it was the world against us and nobody thought we'd beat the New York Giants with Tommy DeVito at quarterback. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's sad. It's just sad. It's disappointing seeing this team fall apart by self-inflicted wounds. Yeah, exactly. There's no need for any of it. It's just tiresome. It's boring. It's lame. It doesn't help anyone. Like, no one on that Eagles team is benefiting from anything that's going on right now. Can you tell me, here we are, can you tell me one Eagles player that has got better as the season's gone on? Right? Well, we'll load it that way. We want to talk about coaching. Yeah, we want to talk about like how Nick Sirianni is a player's coach. And we want to talk about how, Sean Desai is a defensive mastermind. One player who's got better as the year's gone on. AJ Brown's always been a star. Devontae Smith's always been a star. Jalen Carter is as good out of the box as he could have been. He's not improved. There's no extra level to his game. Who has got better as the year's gone on? I mean, I'm genuinely curious. I'm not trying to say it for a hot take point. We'll quickly get to Andrew's comment. Big shout out to Andrew Nathan, RPS, who has donated $4.99. Thank you so much for your donation, man. So I said donation because I read K1's comment, who said Andrew Nathan is a mate. He is a mate. He's one of the boys now. So a big round of applause there for Andrew Nathan. I would do a shot for you. Unfortunately, I'll be doing 5 because that game drove me to insanity. I also respect the Solid Snake avatar. I like that. I watched an entire 3-hour documentary the other day on the lore of Metal Gear Solid. They made me want to buy the new collection that came out. So that's cool seeing it. Andrew says we need to rebuild the defense. We need to draft younger players who are physical and want to hit. Sydney and Reed are the only two. I'll tell you what, yeah, Sydney Reed's been good. Oh, Sydney Brown's been good. I think Sydney's a weird one where he is what he was coming out of college still, where he wants to hit, and it's still that all or nothing play. It will either be a turnover or it will be nothing, And we kind of saw that last night. But I do think very much that you're right in that regard. Like, they've got to draft a linebacker at some point. I think what we need to establish Howard Roseman is that he needs to understand that linebacker is a position on his defense, and it doesn't literally mean it's not a term for being at the back of a line. Yeah, a linebacker is a big player that in the middle of a defense can call the shots, can defend the run, defend the pass, often sits in little zones and keeps his eyes on a quarterback. It isn't a term when driving past a queue to go, hey, that's a linebacker. How he's got to realise that and draft one in. Andrew, you're absolutely right. Thank you for the donation, man. That is incredibly kind of you. I will keep it pinned for a little minute just as a token of thank you. Has it been like this all stream? Bloody hell. It has been, K1, I'm sorry. And shout out to Eric as well. I'm trying to get to the comments. I keep getting distracted and getting a bit angry. My neighbours, I'm sure, will be livid. Duck can make a decent sandwich from those ingredients. He probably can. I can't lie. I mean, when he's on about the Thanksgiving dinner, I think he was flexing some muscles. He was flexing some. Maybe we should do it as a social experiment. But good day to Eric and the Chap 12, everyone that's in here. I appreciate you all hanging out for sure. You've all been absolutely fantastic this evening. Listening to me shout down your earlobes. This is how far I've got in terms of the comments. I'll level with you. Hurts like Wentz's performance went down after the big paycheck. No, I don't know. I don't want to say that. I don't think it's the same. Because realistically, Hurts was in the MVP conversation until 2 weeks ago. He hasn't been that bad in the last 2 games. Like, I don't think it's the money. I very much think it's the fact that I've never seen an offense, any NFL offense, with receivers that talented struggle to get them open. Like, AJ and Devontae don't need it. Like, they can kind of get that. But that's the thing. Like, you are relying on AJ Brown and Devontae Smith to get themselves open because they're so good at what they do. There is no help. When was the last time you saw a pick play for the Eagles? When was the last time you saw some misdirection? A bit of motion, bringing someone across the line of scrimmage? When was the last time you saw AJ Brown move to the slot? There's nothing. There's no intersecting routes. There's no, even crosses that are going to come over and potentially give a safety decision to make. Devontae's over there. AJ's over there. And that's that. They're left to their own devices to get themselves open. And it's just playing free fire. They're doing whatever they want at that point. Like, there just isn't much. Although apparently K1 saw one. I might have been asleep. I'm not sure. Liam DeConnoisseur. Chaps, hit the like. Yeah, I know we got a fair few of us in. We got 27 of the boys in this stream at the minute. If you could leave a like, it would be absolutely amazing. It's the best way, again, to support this stream. We go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. And yeah, it helps us reach more people. We are seeing more people hit these streams now and hang around. So it's fantastic to bring you all into our little community. If you've got thoughts you want to get out, vent your system, feel free to put them in the chat. Obviously, we will highlight as many as we can. And again, just another shout again to Andrew for his kind donation. That was super, super sweet of him. The food guy. See, I am getting there, right? Everyone said I don't read the comments. I am. I'm getting there, and I keep getting sidetracked. I'm a bit angry. All right, Shum. The Eagles are fine, says the food guy. I feel like they needed to lose these 2 games to fix the betting odds during the playoffs. Eagles are winning it all. Have faith. Okay, I'll tell you what, the food guy. Look, I love the optimism. I rate it. Okay, it's commendable. However, I don't think they needed to lose these games to fix the betting odds. I think they needed to lose these games to have a huge slap around the face to wake them up so they can actually advance in the playoffs. If this team we saw last night goes into the playoffs, they have got no hope. They will get sleptwalked. There's nothing. No, it was soulless. It felt like, okay, look, I know we all hate Liam's horrible analogies here. But listen, we've all had a friend that goes through a breakup, okay? And they rejoin the boys or the girls, depending who's watching, or the thems for a night, okay? You come back to your core friendship group and you come in, you sit down, you have a couple drinks, and everyone's trying to talk to that friend, make some jokes, get them laughing in a good mood, and they're just sat there like this. Listening to Stan by Dido and Eminem. Tears don't fall and wondering why, but I'm not there. That's the Eagles offense. That's what we've got right now. They're physically present. Emotionally, something's just not there. Something ain't there. And I don't know, maybe, look, I would not blame the players in the slightest if they're just bored of Brian Johnson, if they're just tired of Brian Johnson and the play calls and the repetition and it's bland. Why would they get excited to go out and go, oh, here we go again? Another 13 play drive. It's going to end in a QB draw on 2nd and 9, and they're going to fumble it. Great. Can't wait for that. Like, I don't understand. Like, there is no emotion, there's no soul, there's no identity in that offense. It's just sad. And I don't know how you fix it. I genuinely think they're maybe bored of Brian Johnson. Maybe they just need a little bit of encouragement or just someone different, a different voice. I know we had a comment a minute ago talking about Frank Reich. I don't know where are we getting to? Am I near the Frank Reich bit yet? Maybe. I am getting there. Andrew Nathan is a mate. He's in the group now. He's in. He's one of the boys. You already see him. He's got a little clap emoji there. Look, he's in. He's one of the gents. Absolutely a member of the Core 12. I've lost where I was on the comments now. I'm gradually trying to scroll down. Hurts will be all right. Not mad at Smitty or AJ. Not mad at Slay. I'm mad at Slay for the tweet. I'm not mad for the play. I'm mad for the tweet. I'm mad that his attitude is just getting very... It's giving a dickhead. It's giving annoying. It's giving cringe. I don't get it. I don't want to spend the whole stream ranting about Darius Slay. He might even block me on Twitter. But like it's sad. That's the thing. Like, he's good on the field, but there's just a bit too much barking for someone that isn't doing a lot of biting for my liking at the minute. Another example, again, Quez Watkins wearing a hoodie. The Eagles are always going to lose that game as soon as Quez Watkins posted a picture of himself wearing a hoodie of himself. Could you imagine if I hosted this stream, sat here with my face on a shirt, man? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You're a professional football player. You are a professional football player, and it was a nice hoodie. If it was any other player on the planet, it could have been Smitty, AJ, whoever. Hell, go with a legend. Put Deshaun Jackson on. That'll get you some pandering brownie points. But putting your own face on a hoodie, man, and wearing it like you're dripped out going to a concert or a club is... Jeez, this team needs a cultural reset. Can we fire the coordinators and Sirianni too? No discipline. No one wants to give any effort. Bang. I like that from Travis. I think he's dead on with that. I don't know if firing them will work. I think Desai can stay. I think Sean Desai... I back Sean Desai, okay? I think he's got a great defensive mind. I think he's able to adapt and adjust with what he has. I don't think he's got all of the tools to do his job. The offense is a different story because the offense, you've got an elite quarterback, your tight end's back, who's probably top 5, 2 top 10 wide receivers, an elite offensive line, and a backfield that ranks inside the top 10. There is no realm where that should be looking as lifeless as it is. There's no way. You cannot walk into Subway with all of those ingredients in front of you and just get an untoasted lettuce sandwich. And that's what the Eagles are doing. So, like, I'm all in on getting rid of Brian Johnson. Officially the worst BJ I've ever seen. But alas, we move, we move. We actually ran across from 4th and 7, but AJ didn't disrupt Gilmore at all. Oh, okay, we ran 1. That's a start then. We're getting there. The thing is, scheme is also Nick, not just Brian. He just says brain there. And also Nick doesn't seem to be using his brain at the minute, so I will say brain, Mark, if that's okay. The motion always screws them over, I swear, when they try. Yeah, mate, but is that not just due to a lack of it? Like, Sirianni was always saying, like, oh, we're not just going to run it for the sake of running it. But isn't that like, it's just neglecting it before even giving it a chance? Like, in the words of Matthew Healy, like, give yourself a try. Like, give it a go. At least experiment. If you can see your offense falling at the seams, you don't sit there doing nothing. If your house is on fire, you don't sit there in the flames going, my tears don't fall, they're wondering why. Do you see what I'm saying? Maybe they do. Maybe this team does. Been sub since the JMAT interview. Andrew, officially a stud. I rate you. Thank you so much, man. I hope you enjoyed the interview. What a man. What a man. And he's in. We've officially expanded to a core 13. All right, we're having Andrew in. He's one of the boys now. Liam's reaction to Hightower's draft is comment. Should we find it? I don't think I'll tell you what made my night at the time. Someone uploaded it and I'm not logged into Twitter on this, for God's sake. I'll find it another time unless someone's got a link. But someone videoed like our draft stream with the draft on. I just found it really sick that they were because obviously you kind of lose sight of it. Like we do the draft watch along, and forget that people do sit there watching the NFL draft through us. Like it was really like cool experience. I don't know, like seeing the video of someone just chilled out, like a beer, some pizza, whatever it was, and then the clip and then the TV. It was sick. I was like, that is everything I could have ever wanted. Like I'm glad that people let us into our lives like that. It's really sick. Any of the NFC South could beat us right now, pretty much. I tell you what, I would genuinely love to see the Eagles versus the Panthers just for one time. Give me like an in-season tournament like the NBA are doing. Give me Eagles, Panthers. Give it to me. I need that. I need to see Miles Sanders run into his own blocker 12 times. I need to see the Eagles get beaten up by... I'm losing my marbles. I can't think about it. Defense is good enough. They need to reset the offense and start from scratch. Bingo. Exactly. Yeah, I don't care if you get Frank Reich. Just anyone with a brain that can come in and just advise you at this point. Like they need it. I called to bring him in as a consultant. I thought he was describing Jalen's facial expressions. Nah, Jalen just stares but Jalen looks good when he stares. He's like, I don't know, a bit of a macho vibe to it. There are so many comments I've still got to get through. Good grief. Where are we at? I would buy that shirt. Maybe I'll make it then. I'll tell you what, maybe I'll recreate the Quez Watkins hoodie, but with just my face on it. Like I'll take the picture of Quez and put my face on Quez Watkins. I can't get over that. That is... And we wonder why this team's struggling, man. Davidson, he's in the chat, and he says, man, yesterday was such a bummer. I don't know how to feel moving forward. I think I'm just going to hang out for the ride. Yeah, I think that's all we can do at this point. I think that is all we can do is just wait and see and get suckered back into the train again as soon as they play the Giants and they win by 48-12 and everyone's like, the equivalent of you Vike that. Can't be asked. I think we need to treat this next month as a preseason schedule. That's probably the best way to word it. Having it worded it like that is refreshing because I was just like, there's no point in looking at anything until, the end of the year. Like nothing matters now until the postseason. But with that in mind, why not experiment? Like, why not try something new? At least show an intent to, even if it doesn't work. Like, just try it. Hell, the special teams fake punt, brilliant. I love that. I was a big fan of that. But like, try something. Just do it a bit different. Maybe don't have Jalen Hurts just sprint about on a random design QB run in the middle of the drive when he's already got a knee issue and, you've got running backs that can do that, funny enough. Sure, Jalen's dynamicism is a lethal weapon when it is being used as a dual threat ability. If there is a threat on any given play that Jalen can run or pass, it's a threat. Right now, when Jalen runs, it is dead obvious. And when Jalen passes, it is dead obvious. That there is no threat there. It is just a quarterback that can do both. Like, that makes him Russell Wilson at this point. That literally makes him Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, but with thicker thighs that can squat a bit more and is good on a brotherly push. If you're not going to use him for what he is, which is arguably a generational talent, someone that can run like Lamar with the arm talent, dare I say, more arm talent than Burrow, I would say. I mean, Burrow's got a bit better over the past couple of years, but geez, the first couple he was in the NFL, the baby arm Burrow stuff stuck, for sure. So, like, you've got to use him like that. There is no dual threat. Like, last year, that Eagles offense was so fun to watch because the RPO game was just excellent. It was magic. You didn't know where Jalen was going to go. Is he going to hand it off? Is he going to keep it? Is he going to drop back? No one knew. It was a triple threat. Now it's just a very obvious, we're going to run that way. Runs for 2-yard gain. We're going to pass that way. Pass for a 3-yard gain. They won't suspect this, everyone. QB draw on 3rd and 6. 4 and 2. Punt. There is no imagination to any of it. It is sad. Slate seems like the Batman quote. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. I'm definitely ready to see him become another bird. I don't know. Look, I don't know. I think, again, it's not on the field. On the field is fine. It's passable. He's not the worst offender on the field. Like, that's the least of my concerns right now. It's more just the attitude off of it. And it's just so... It feels like there's so much stock in what people think about him. Like someone is very aware that he's getting older and doesn't want to be seen as someone declining at age 32. So he's very adamant to show anything, any sign of life, that he's not done that. So he's got a hip, trendy podcast because he's down with the kiddos. And he retweets big plays of himself because he thinks we all still watch Tavon Austin's highlight tape on YouTube. You know, like, and he's on Twitter all the time. It's not like that. We love you for who you are, Darius. You do great things in the community. Your wife does great things in the community. You're beloved here. You don't have to force the issue. Just relax, okay? Loosen up a little bit and we'll all be all right. Hello, Darkness, my old friend. Hello, Martian. Hello. Lamar Jackson for MVP. I don't know about MVP. I hate to say Dak. If the Cowboys win the East, it's Dak. I don't want to say Brock Purdy because I don't think he's that valuable. So I probably would go Lamar off principle, to be honest. I've got so many comments still. Liam rants the rest of us. Liam rants that the rest of us might live. I'm coming down. I'm trying to come down. Our defense can't handle motion because they never see it in practice against the bland Brian. Do you know what? That might even be all right as well. It's like they just get shown a tape of, they're going to do all this shit. They're going to run around, do whatever they want. And you just try keep up. Or can we not practice against it? Can you not maybe... No, you'll be fine. They're going to run around, but it won't matter though, because the ball's not moved. And that's what you have to remember. Yeah? Motion, the ball hasn't moved. So you let them do what they want and you stay right where you are. Yeah, but can we not learn? Can we not practice so we don't get... No. See, the ball isn't moving. Yeah? The ball's... No, but I know, but surely the play... Now that ball not moving, you not move. That is the average meeting with Sean Desai at the minute. When was the last time we saw AJ on an out route and an RPO? Last year, probably. And that's the thing. Like, the more we talk about it, the more upsetting it's beginning to get. Liam's ranting now. No more comments, lads. How's that? Is it comment? Have that. I'm sorry. Look, I'm coming down. All right, I'll blitz through them all. God, there's so many. I didn't realize. Hang on. Where I was there? No, bollocks. Where was I? Hang on. I'm not that far away. I'm getting there. If Tyree gets 2,100, there's no way he doesn't get it. If he does, yeah. I mean, if he it's like that'd be the all-time record, wouldn't it? So potentially, I think he's 700, isn't he? Or he's quite far out to win it though. It's just rare you see an MVP that isn't a quarterback, unfortunately, because the voting system is very backwards. The way our run defense has been lately, Miles Sanders might. Well, yeah, he might run at the board. Look, Martian, it's been bad, but we're not that bad. It's Miles Sanders we're talking about. No, I'm joking. Callum Moore, I wouldn't mind Callum Moore. Mandem Liam struggling with the comments. Mandem Liam is fam. Can't take it no more, my guy. Recreate the hoodie and have the words of PSM Bossman on it. I might actually do it because if Quez Watkins can do it, why can't I? When was the last time you ran a fake on special teams? Outside of last night, I feel like a few years ago. Genuinely a few years ago. Liam been ranting more than a Karen. I'll tell you what, right, I've got to show you this. Right, you're all still here so you can see this. The other day, do you remember what I was saying, right, where I guess I might have alluded to it before, but when I was in the thick of YouTube and I was making videos every day and I was overworked and didn't know what was going on, I didn't know how close to a breakdown I was. What is that? What is that? You can't see it very well. That's Christ almighty. I put a video up online on the internet with that haircut, and I thought that was a good idea. I thought that was a good idea. Why did no one tell me you look like a crackhead or a Karen that's about to return a cheese grater? No, why did no one tell me? No one told me. I don't understand. BJ's offense has been described as explosive diarrhea. True. Uh, it's not good. I don't know how he. We're 13 weeks into a season, and there hasn't been a single inclination, a single sign that he might have play calling duties revoked. There hasn't been a sign his job's in jeopardy. As far as he's concerned, he's got his feet up with a cup of tea, watching Grey's Anatomy on repeat on Hulu. Right? That's his average evening. Sat there playing Clash of Clans. I might text Devontae and see if he wants to play. Probably. No, he doesn't, Brian, because he's trying to work and get better like you should be, you dozy bozo. We won't get personal. We don't get personal in this stream. State's been playing great. It's just him being so cocky. Yeah, and I think that there's an element of it, but I think it's an attention thing. And I know corners have to have that mentality because they are some of the best players in the world. Like, I don't know. I still think the rudest NFL player I've ever spoken to was Asante Samuel. Utter bellend. I interviewed him twice. And you have to just stroke his ego to get any kind of response out of him. Otherwise, he just doesn't want to talk to you. And I can't describe... I wish I had the audio. I might do. I'll try and dig it out. But he just sat there being like, yeah, Asante, you are so great and wonderful. And your willy must be so big. And I bet you get all of them ladies. Anyway, what did you think about the Eagles? And it's like, you've got to go through all that to get one half-invested answer. It's crazy. No shots at Asante if you're watching this. Don't sue me. I don't understand why we can't use similar West Coast that McCarthy implemented down in Dallas. We have the players. Exactly. I mean, at the core, the Eagles are a West Coast team. Like, they should be. You run first to set up the pass. You've got the running backs, you've got the offensive line, you've got the wide receivers to do it. Instead, you've got an offense. I'm not sure we can see a target map. I'm not sure if NFL Next Gen Stats do it, but I'll try and get it up for Wednesday's stream. As a guarantee, 90% of the targets are there, and the middle is just barren with like maybe 6 or 7 a game, if that. After the Phillies blew 6 and 7, I said I'm curious to see how the Eagles will disappoint us. I'm glad it's before the playoffs this year. Martian might be the wittiest person in this chat. I love his jokes. Now we've hit the point in the comments where we are seeing this, which means you've seen the image, and there it is. That's where we can see it. Liam walks to talk to the manager at Subway because he put cheese and meat on his meatball sub. It's basically as bland as the Eagles' offense, so I probably would have done. You look like a gay barista. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not. Who let me record a video like that? Genuinely. Who let me? Whose idea was it? To comment on that, and 1.9k views that's got, or 1.5k, not a single comment about the appearance. Well, there might be, I haven't looked. I mean, someone sent it to me and was like, "What, were you okay?" And I was like, "No, not really. Not really." So in retrospect, I do think I'm much healthier now, is where we were going there. First 11 seasons. You ever notice that Johnson comes up, never shows up to coach's interviews on time? Does he not? I was probably too busy wanking or something. Already got it stuck all over his playbook. It's why he can't turn past. I can't talk. Can't turn past page 3. I'm annoyed about his Eagles team. See, I'm at an hour. I'm still fired. I'm wired up about it. Slay's laughter is just nervous laughter. He's in a tough spot. He means well. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's just the tweeting thing. Just stay off Twitter, and it'll be all right. It'll be all right. You know, who let Liam cook? Not in that image. 2020 was a year for all of us. It was. On that note, tomorrow I'm going to get the PSN award stuff set up. So I'll look in a date and I'll get the Google sheet filled out so you can vote for your favorite PSN writers of the... Like, we've had a lot of new writers come through across the board, like Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Union, Flyers. And it's just a way to recognize everyone at PSN. Like, if you've been to a PSN awards show, you know what the deal is. If you haven't, buckle up. But yeah, they will get a Google sheet where you can vote for your favorite writer, favorite rookie writer, your favorite story you've read, all that good stuff. And yeah, we all get suited up and we do it, stream it on YouTube. So we'll be doing that, and hopefully we can have some fun with it. So we're going to end it there before See, I'm that guy. I go into Starbucks and I'm like, can I have a large coffee, please? And they're like, what? And I'm like, can I have a large coffee? And they go, do you mean a venti caramacum acum nacum nacum caramel syrup with a double guac twist of avocado latte? And I'm like, sure. So like, I go as far as pumpkin spice lattes and gingerbread lattes or white hot chocolates. I'm a sucker for a white hot chocolate. Outside of that, just a latte will do me. Please, boss man, sort me out, yeah. Um, sort me out, Shun. I'll have a latte, please, Shun. If that's all right. So that's where I'm at on the latte discussion. Seth Joyner, to me, feels very out of touch. I don't know if it's just me. I think he I don't know. He just doesn't seem to get ball in the modern way, in the nicest way. I feel like he just doesn't quite give off that, like, as a coach and someone that's going to like whip them into shape. Absolutely. As someone that understands the modern intricacies of an offense and a defense, I'm not overly sure, but alas. Last night was drinking a cup of cold sick, innit, mate? See, you getting it now? It went down like a cup of cold sick, that loss to Dallas. I'm telling you now, boys. This was the worst therapy session, fam. But I enjoyed it. So, cheers. No, I thought it was good. I've had fun. I've had fun. I love Slay, but when you come after any goat of the gangrene, we're going to have a problem. I mean, I get it for that. It's just more... I think Slay just puts too much stock in what people think. Really, I think that's what it comes down to. And look, we're all victims of it. I mean, if any of us were under that kind of spotlight, I'm sure we would. You know, if you're getting older and you're not quite ready to hang them up and you've got people saying you should retire, you're going to probably retweet everything. Look, I get suckered into Twitter stuff. I don't do as much now. I'm quite quiet on Twitter compared to the glory days. But wait, why do you have a dessert called Spotted Dick? Sorry, I got distracted then. I've never had it, to be fair. But there were marbles called Spotted Dicks, little spotty marbles as well. I've never tried it. I couldn't tell you what's in it. But yeah, I think Darius Slay just needs to pause, relax, enjoy his football while it's there for what it is, which is his career. Enjoy it. Like, because in a year or two, it might not be there. I don't trying to be mean to him there, but he might not be. Might be fired. No, I'm sure he'll be fine. But great guy, heart's in the right place, great play. One of the best corners of the last 10 years. Just needs to hone it in a bit, you know? Just relax, chill, and it'll be fine. But anyway, I think you're in the wrong conference. LJ needs better help sometimes. I tell you what, I will say this, right? LJ needs better help sometimes. I have used better help. They didn't like the Eagles therapy sessions. They weren't a fan. They were like, how's your week been? I was like, terrible. Absolutely terrible. The Eagles lost to Dallas. Darius Slay's on Twitter again. Someone said it like a gay barista on the YouTube stream, and they were like, I don't think this is the place for you, Liam. Yeah. But no, genuinely, I have used them before, and they are very good. And I would encourage anyone, especially guys, because guys notoriously, fellas, we don't talk about our issues. We like to bottle them up, listen to music, and put them on our Instagram stories as subtle messages to people that may or may not be included in our thoughts. Look, if we are struggling with mental health, what I will say is that BetterHelp are genuinely really good. It is a bit pricey, but if you lie about your income, you can get financial aid. I would recommend doing that. Not that I did. But I think it's like $200 a month, but you get 4 sessions, 1 a week. And they are, this isn't a sponsor or anything like that. It's just something that like really benefited me last year. And I think that I'm a better person because of it. And I just know I'm more comfortable with myself. So yeah, if anyone is like ever struggling or just needs that, like BetterHelp is a service that is genuinely really good. I've used it. I'd recommend it. So there you go. Look after yourselves, boys. It's Christmas, okay? Sometimes Christmas can be a bit tough for guys out there, all right? Especially if you're a bit lonely, if you've gone through a tough year, maybe it's family stuff. It's a great thing. Just check in on your friends, look after each other. And that's where we'll leave it on an oddly high note for this stream. We'll end it on an oddly high note. I'll quickly go through, call them Spotted Riches, quickly go through the comments. I went to see the play Alexander Hamilton. Did you now? That's very British of you. That is very, very sophisticated, Eric. I like that. I like that a lot. We need to trade Slay and Bradbury, go sign Jalen Johnson, draft 2 linebackers, 2 corners, 2 safeties, Funny, I wanted Philly to draft. I would have loved Jair. I would have loved Alexander, man. He's so good. But yeah, I think we have the same conversation with defense like every single year of just like they need help here and here, and it never. They're always in prime spot to do it. They're always in prime spot to get the corner, to get the linebacker, and the name just drops and drops and drops and drops, and you're like, it's perfect, and then they don't pick them, and I'm just tired. I'm just tired of it. But yeah, hopefully this year, this has to be a turning point. Whether it's this game, last game, or this offseason, there has to be a turning point in the way they do things, because it's just not sustainable without that core when you're going to ignore the linebacker and safety position. Self-help's important. I have a therapist. Best decision I ever made. I'd agree. Not that it's the best decision you ever made. I mean, like in terms of my decisions, like it really benefited me. I think having someone once a week to just go through stuff that you don't even think that you've processed, like, or stuff growing up that you don't realize is like an issue, if that makes sense. Like, and then you realize you've built, I don't know. For me, it was like just coping mechanisms and stuff that just as an adult weren't as effective as when I was as a kid, and I didn't realize that until having those conversations. So yeah, we'll quickly say shout to Larry Potts, who says the Philly Eagles is not a good team. Say what you see, Larry. Say what you see, my friend. No, I'm joking. I appreciate you coming in, Larry. Gents, we will end it there. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us. We do love a happy ending. Not that we have had one this week. The BJ was especially sloppy, and I hope personally I never get it again. But if you do want self-help, I would recommend BetterHelp. Genuinely a great service. And I know you only meant it as like a light-hearted comment, but if I can ever take an opportunity to just give you guys something that is valuable and will help you, and you know, I never know. You never know what people are going through. So genuinely, it's really good. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for hanging out and processing what was a very chaotic Eagles loss to Dallas with me. I will see you on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we will go through this again, probably some extra stuff, and obviously look ahead to the game against Seattle. I hope you enjoy a terrific slate of Monday Night Football involving the Giants and the Titans and the Packers. And good night. Have fun. Yeah, take care. Go Bears. I love you all. See you on Wednesday, where your gay barista will go over everything Eagles related once more. If you could leave a like on the video, that would be amazing. Shout out to Phil and Mary Fendler on Facebook for liking the stream. If you could leave a like on YouTube, that would be incredible. Subscribe if you like the content. There'll be plenty more of it coming your way. Take care. Go Birds. I can't say bye. Bye.